Hare Krishna devotees. So today we are going to talk about knowledge, right? Today is the fourth chapter. So let's see what knowledge we are going to learn today. So before we start, let's start off with Mangalacharan. Just give me 1 second. And knowledge, not only that, today everything will be related to knowledge. But when I'm telling knowledge, you don't have to worry. You know, it is not going to be your physics, chemistry, and computer kind of knowledge. This is going to be something little and very different from that. So this what knowledge this is all about, right? So isn't this tempting? So let's start off this session with that. And meanwhile, you can keep your hand raised for all those who would like to read, the English text today. Yeah, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So let's start with the prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Om Anyanattimurandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadatikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamani Haripriye Vancha Kalpadarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivachadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna devotees. So let's start off with the chapter. Yes, so what is this chapter called, right? I said today is about knowledge. So yoga means connecting one to Krishna, right? And what is this knowledge talking about? Today this knowledge is talking about Jnana Yoga. Jnana means knowledge, right? So it's Jnana. So what is a Jnana all about today? So let's hear. Hare Krishna. Yes, Hare Krishna for the wishes. So let's have a quick reference to the third chapter, right? So the second chapter, Krishna told, renunciate the fruits, right? So with the fruits renunciation, Arjuna got confused. That led to the third chapter. The beginning of third chapter, Krishna, when he is talking about renunciation, Arjuna thinks we should not fight because he thinks fighting is fruitive. He thinks it is more to do with benefit, right? So he thinks renunciation means he should leave the place, run away and meditate, right? He should become a sannyasi. But is Krishna talking about sannyasi? No. He is talking about renunciate only the expectation, only the fruits, right? We should renunciate, but the work we should not. So every one of us have a particular dharma, right? What is that dharma? One is the spiritual dharma which we are doing. Other one is called the swadharma, which means everything which we are doing, right? Whatever duties which we are doing, we should not abandon them. We should continue, right? So because of that, Arjuna is requesting Krishna, tell only one, ekam vada, tell me one thing only, right? And then Nishkama Karma Yoga, we already saw where he says, always, give up the fruits, whatever, right? So that you don't invest in. And we saw this, my favorite, Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga, right? So all of us once upon a time would have been Karma Kantis, and slowly we are going to now start working in Krishna consciousness. So that is the elevator. And we also saw this one led by an example where, great Maharaj like Janaka Maharaj and, Krishna himself lived by an example, right? They did not tell, okay, you should do this, you should do that. No, they actually gave an example of themselves. And which is the greatest enemy? The greatest enemy is nothing but lust. And what are the three places the lust sits? Senses, mind, and intelligence. So this we saw. So what is going to happen in the fourth chapter, right? So fourth chapter, the first 10 verses, Krishna is going to give this transcendental knowledge, right? We're going to know about Krishna's transcendental knowledge. Evam parampara praptam, which means parampara means heredity, discipline succession. So when was Bhagavad Gita? This is a very interesting chapter. And this is one of my favorite. There are a couple of chapters, 2-3 chapters, which are my all-time favorite. This is one of that. So this one is going to talk specifically about Parampara. When Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, now you may tell, Hare, we all know, Mataji, we all know that Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, to Arjuna about 5,000 years back. But let's see actually and hear what Krishna is telling. Interested, right? So let's watch that. And next one is Krishna as the goal of all paths and creator of Varnashram system, right? So what does he say? Why did all this? So today we are talking about caste system is used and exploited differently, right? So I used to hate and I still hate the caste system which is prevailing. So what is this Varnashram system? Is this different from the current day caste system? So it's a very debatable topic, but Krishna is going to throw light on who the creator is and the purpose of creation of this Varnashram system, right? And 4.16 to 24, Karmano Hepai Bodhavyam, right? What does Karmano Hepi means? It means that Karma Yoga, right? Working in Krishna consciousness. So what is that? Yoga is connecting to God and how you can do work and still stay connected. And what does 4.25 to 33 say that? Jnana Yajna Parantapa. Sacrifices lead to transcendental knowledge, right? How does these sacrifices lead one to the transcendental knowledge? This one clearly says this, right? And summary of transcendental. So basically, we are talking about all the yagnas which we do is for Krishna, ultimate purpose of all yagnas. And what is the yagna which we are doing? Some of you will tell me what are the yagna which we are doing now?
Harinam Sankirtan.
Yes, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Very nice. Thank you, Ritu. And Ritu, you can continue to read. Yes, so yes, Sankirtan is the is the thing which we are doing in the present generation, right? So we are so happy because we are actually doing the sacrifice called Sankirtan. And finally, we're going to see summary. And what does it say? Summary talks about, this is very nice word, right? Tadvidi prani pratena. Okay, so let's read this one as it comes. But now let's dive into the transcendental knowledge of Krishna. This is the suspense, right? So when did Krishna first speak? My DP and this same, nice, no? A visual background. So it's Bhagavad Gita, right? So this came 5,000 years back, we all know. But let's hear what Krishna is telling, right? History of Bhagavad Gita. Hey Krishna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavanaham Avyayam Vivaswan Manave Paha Manu Ikshvaka Bhebravi. Hare Krishna.
The blessed Lord said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasam, and Vivasam instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Lakshvaku.
Thank you so much. Very clearly read. So Vivaswan is sun god. So now you will tell, oh no, sun god I know is Surya Dev. The point is, sun god is a position. It's a post, like, so if I ask you who is the Prime Minister of India, right, you will say Modi. But can I tell you, hey, 5 years back you gave me 10 years back you gave me a different name. 20 years back you gave me another name. 30 years, what you keep on changing? What you will tell, hey, no, Prime Minister, it's a position, right? It's an authority position. But the person is the name of the person, right? So likewise is Vivaswan. Vivaswan is the name of the person, and sun god is actually the position, right? So sun god, so there were various gods. Surya Dev is one more sun god. So Vivaswan was there. So what happened? So it's a 4th generation being. So he says that this imperishable science of yoga was taught to sun god. His name was Vivaswan. And Vivaswan, Krishna told sun god, who is Vivaswan. Vivaswan told to Manu, who is Manu, we all know, right? He is the father of mankind, and Manu gave it to his son Ikshvaku. So it is going in the discipline succession. 4 levels it is going. So this is what he is saying, right? So this one, so 4 levels, right? So now all of you are confused, right? Where is the story now? Only 5,000 years back, yes or no? Yes, right? See, this is a picture. 4 levels, one from here, from here, from here. So now what is this doubt, right? Now we have the doubt before that Arjuna will get, right? So immediately Arjuna is going to ask, Hare Krishna. So what does he say? So this is moving from the, I just saw, right? From here 4 books has moved, right? So let's go to the next. So before we get in depth, what is Parampara, right? You should know, this guru is very confusing, right? Today, with a lot of fake gurus coming, people don't have belief in the actual guru. So what do you mean by guru and who's the original guru? So there are 4 paramparas, which is bona fide. Like, medical college or university or engineering college or arts, everything has to be authorized, right? Same authorization even in Bhagavad Gita we have. So it has to come through what's called the 4 parampara. What is the Brahma parampara? So all of you know Lord Brahma. Krishna telling them, and in that parampara, and we are, ISKCON is coming under that parampara. And the other one is Sri Lakshmi parampara. All Tirupati and all will come under that. Who follow we follow Madhavacharya and they follow the Ramanujacharya. And Rudra parampara, you all know Shiva. And Vishnu Swami is the leading person there. And 4 Kumaras are the sons of Brahma. And the story about 4 Kumaras, I'll tell you all someday. And it's called Nimbarkacharya. He was the one who actually took it forward. So now let me continue this, so Krishna told Brahma and Brahma told in this chain, to Narada, and Narada went to Madhavacharya. And from there, Prabhupada is also there. So this is how the discipline succession is coming, which is why Bhagavad Gita is called as it is. And all 4 of them, all 4 are equally good and equally all of them are genuine, right? So we have to follow the parampara system. Okay, but now we have this doubt, right? Oh my God, Krishna is same age as Arjuna. Arjuna had so. He's telling, hey, Krishna, you're my counterpart, which means that you're my age. And how is it possible for you to have spoken? Right? Now, before Krishna answers, so let's see this. Today I want you all to be all alert because it's a lot of knowledge, a lot of interesting numbers will come. So what is happening here? Can you see Kali Yuga down? Down, what we see Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. And Kali Yuga, prior to that is Dwarpa Yuga, right? That is when Krishna came. And that is twice that of Kali Yuga. So 4.32 into 2, right? Treta Yuga is when Rama came. So that is Dwarpa Yuga plus Kali Yuga becomes the total number of years. So it was longer. Why? Because people lived longer also there. And Satya Yuga is basically sum total of all these 3 put together. So it was long. So this is one cycle, right? All yugas, one complete yuga cycle is called Divya Yuga, right? So all these 4 yugas put together is called Divya Yuga. And for all those who told that the world is going to perish, 5,000 years only approximately has gone by after Krishna has gone, right? So because Krishna was in Dwarpa Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, 5,000 years have gone, which means we still have 4,27,000 years left. So all those who, gave that story, 2020 world will get destroyed and all, no, we are all there. And Kali Yuga is still going to be there. But the fact is, the quality of life is deteriorating. You all are seeing. And what do you mean by Divya Yuga? I told you it's an addition of everything. So 71 times the circle repeats, right? All 4 into 71, right? That, basically all this put together, you add all this, it's 4.32 million years, right? All this into 71 will give you 306 years, which is one mantra, right? Now, what happens? This is very, very important. So one day of Brahma, we are actually trying to calculate 2 things. One is day of Brahma and life of Brahma. So Brahma's day consists of, we saw like 1 Manu, right? Like this 1 Manu, Brahma has 14 Manus, right? 1 day. Night is same length. So we'll talk only about the day. So they will have 14 Manus. So this 306.72 into 14, right? Manus. Plus, you also have that little thing which is neither day nor time, we call it, right? The morning or the fading evening. So those times are called the Sandhyas, this one. This represents the daytime of the 12 hours, which we call, and the equivalent time is the night. So like that, you can see 14 Manus and what currently we are currently in Kali Yuga and currently we are in the 7th Manu, right? So this particular 7th Manu is called the Vivaswan Manu, right? And now what is, sorry, is the screen paused? Yeah. Can you, let me just share again. Now it's visible, right? So can you see it? You saw this one. And Manu, 7 Manus, we are on the 7th Manu. And also what you can, yeah, thank you. So, and then finally what happens is every time, every day, during the daytime, all the material world, right? Wherever we are, our Earth and few planets below, all of them actually comes into life. And during the night of Manu, right, there is something called partial devastation. All of us get removed. The life will end for all lives which are there, right? So how many are there? So this day of Brahma, and let's say Brahma lives for 100 years, right? So many years Brahma is going to live. So this number, that is daytime plus thing, into 100, and all this max gives the life of Brahma as 311.04 trillion years as per human calculation. So you can imagine how many years Brahma is actually technically staying. He's got a very long life, which also tells us that Brahma has a long life, but does not mean that he is permanently alive. He will also die, right? He is not immortal, right? That's an important point here. So now this is going to talk a little bit of max, right? So we already saw 7 yugas have gone, right? If you see the previous one, let me go one after the other. So 50 years of Brahma has gone. So we thought 311 years, right? Divide by 2 straight away, you get 50 years, right? So this is one. So now we are going to see, that's what I told. We are in the 7th Manu. So 6 Manus are over. So that is what we saw. So so many years are gone. And 27 cycles against 4 yugas have also gone. So this gives a number. So basically what is more important is all your Satya, Treta and Dwapara Yuga all put together. How many, so many circles have completed. And time in Kali Yuga, I already told, approximate figure I gave was 5017 years. So that many have gone by, right? So that is one reason why the time has elapsed, and we are at, so this is the time when Krishna left. From that moment, literally from that moment is when Kali took over. So life of Brahma we saw is exactly, you saw right, 155.52 plus, a decimal, which is coming up here. So this exact figure is formed. You don't have to get too much of max. This is the years which is approximately gone. Simpler way of calculation, if you want to see, totally 100 years, and the 100 years is 311, divide by 2, approximate 50 years have gone, right? So 155 years from there you can get. So life of Manu we are calculating. So we saw this 27 cycles of 4 yugas. This is what it says. So 116 is the life. And all 3 years, 3 of them, right? Because so many kalpas have been going. So it's 3.3, and this one we already saw. So I'm just pushing. So accepting that before the birth of Manu, Gita was spoken, then when was it spoken? So based on this right calculation, Gita has spoken 120 million years. This is an important quiz question also. You should start answering your quizzes. And therefore, Gita is spoken 120 million years ago by Vivaswan, sun god. This is where the answer is. See, life of Manu we know, right? So that is how we will be able to calculate, because he told Vivaswan. So exactly the life of Manu is what tells us how many years Gita is spoken. So life of Manu is showed here, right? Plus whatever in the current yuga, how much ever is passed, plus the decimal of what we have done, right? The little years which we have lost in Kali. So that's the thing. So Gita came on earth, right? So it's very beautifully given here. So in the beginning of Treta Yuga, millennium, the science of the relationship with the Supreme was delivered by Vivaswan to Manu. Manu, being the father of mankind, gave it to his son Ikshavaku, the king of this earth planet. He was the first king and the forefather of Raghu dynasty. What Raghu dynasty? Ramachandra. Ram no came. He is from the Raghu dynasty. Therefore, the existing human society, which we calculate on what basis we calculate, is from the time Ikshavaku has been present, right? From there we do. So that is what they have been calculating all this. So they have given all the splits. Now let's have a quick thing. 1 second of Brahma, right? 1 second of Brahma is 1 lakh years, right? Can you see just 1 second? It's 1 lakh human years. These are all calculated. 1 second of Brahma is years. So you can imagine 1 day of Brahma is so many years calculated in human calculation, right? So that is what it is. So how did we get this figure? We already saw 4.32 is the day. So into 2, right? Day and equal 9. So this is what it says. So now we are moving to Krishna back. How did Krishna appear, right? So whoever is going to read, be ready. Hare Krishna. Ajo api san avyayatma bhutanam ishvaropi san prakritim spat adishthaya sambhavami atma mayaya. Hare Krishna.
Although I am unborn and my transcendental body deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all sentient beings, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form.
Thank you so much. Lovely, cute voice. So who is this one? Who is this small kid here?
Krishna.
Then who's this big person here?
Vishnu.
Lord Vishnu.
Okay, so basically when Avatar means he transcends, right? He comes as it is. So what happens here now who are these two?
Devaki and Nandagopal. Devaki
Perfect.
and Vasudeva.
Devaki and
Vasudeva.
Vasudev.
yeah,
Vasudev.
so yeah, Devaki and Vasudeva, right? Vasudev. So they are born. So what happens for them? Manasika Putra, right? Krishna. So Narayana comes in the four-handed form, and they are looking. Oh, Narayana. Okay, four-handed form. They are very scared to have Narayana in the four-handed form. Immediately, Krishna manifested, right, in his two-handed form, right? So that is the story, and how Krishna appeared is what is spoken here. Now, a little bit of flashback. Why did they impress him? So, can anyone guess who is this person?
Kamsa Maharaj.
Sorry,
Kam.
did you say Kamsa?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. So it's Kamsa. So whom is he trying to behead? He's trying to behead
Devaki.
Devaki. Perfect. Hare Krishna. So we'll see. Wow, this is a famous shloka. All of you all will know this, right? 4.7. Hare Krishna. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tatham manam srijamyaham. Familiar, right? So yeah, please go ahead.
Whenever and wherever there is a decline in a religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irregular, at that times I descend myself. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks, Aditi, for typing Kamsa. Yes. So what is he saying? So he says, whenever I see there's a decline in religious practices. Now, religion does not mean Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jain. No. Religion here he is referred to dharma. So whenever he sees adharma is prevailing, which is why you see here, they've translated as religion, but the Sanskrit word says dharma, right? Yada yada hi dharmasya. Whenever the dharma is gliding down, that is when I will decline, right? So he very clearly says, Glani Bhavati Bharata. Bharata, why he is calling Arjuna? Because we saw, right, Bharata Maharaj story. He is coming in the same parampara. So they call him that way. And then Abhyutam Adharmasya, right? Whenever there is adharmam, right? To irreligion, opposite of religion is irreligion, raises tadatmanam, right? I descend myself, tadatmanam, swajamya haham. That means I come myself, I descend as it is. He's so beautifully saying, right? So now next one is even more important, and you will know. Why does Krishna appear? See there, whenever there is adharma. Okay, now why does Krishna appear? Now we'll see this. Hare Krishna. Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Hare Krishna.
In order to deliver and to heal
Hare Krishna, the voice was in and out for me. I don't know if you all felt the same, so I'll repeat this. In order to deliver the pious, right? So that means he's coming for taking care of his devotees and to annihilate the miscreants and to establish the religion. The religion part he already told, but now we also know this Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu story. So did actually God come to kill Hiranyakashipu? That's a secondary reason. But the main reason he came for Prahlad. Narasimha Dev came for saving Prahlad, right? So that is the actual reason, why they have done. So that is why, in order to deliver the pious and to annihilate, right? So for that reason only he came. So that is one thing which Krishna is saying. And this picture is about Kamsa, right? So now let's see what is the benefit of knowing Krishna, right? First we saw when he came, then why he came. Now what is the benefit? Let's see that. Okay, Hare Krishna. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tvaktva deham punar janma naiti mameti sorjuna. Hare Krishna.
One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in the material world, but attains my eternal abode. O Arjuna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he very clearly says that once, who knows the transcendental nature, right? Whoever understands, right, will not come back here. Oh my God, then what will happen? Now I want to ask this interesting question. All of y'all, do you all want to have a permanent place with so much happiness, which is so permanent, and you do not have any pain, no homework, no studies, no competition, no money issue, all beauty, all fame, all name, and a permanent life. Do you like that life, or you want to come back again here and battle every day? What do you like? You may still have choices, because when I've asked this question, I have a relative of mine. She said, in fact, my aunt, she said, no, I want to come back. And there were 2 more of them who said that, no, I don't want to come back. So there's no correct answer or the wrong answer, but it's your choice. So what would you prefer? Yes, like pleasure. Okay, next. Okay, thanks, Vaibhav. So you want to come back, but you want life with a lot of pleasure. Okay. Or I would come back. Okay, fine. I'm going to ask the same question on the last day. You're going to tell me this. No, I think, Vaibhav, you said that you would prefer the life with pleasure. Okay, I got it. I would stay. Okay. You won't come back. Okay, that's nice. Some very realized soul, Ritu, we have. Next. Yeah. So as I said, there's no right answer or wrong answer, just a view. So, and I will share my views also in as we talk. So what are they talking about? So he is telling that when you know about Krishna, right? So what happens is you get a permanent abode where you will not have any, you will have happiness. There is no problem for happiness. There is no, this is what is said even in Brahma Samhita. It says, Chintamani Prakrasadma Sukalpa Vriksha, which means Kalpa Vriksha tree. There are so many Kalpa Vriksha tree, which are desire trees. Under the tree, you ask anything, you ask for chocolates, you get ice cream, you get car, you get whatever you want to get. So that's called Kalpa Vriksha. Lakshadi Surabhi Abhipalayantam. So that means Surabhi cows are there and they give you milk and they give you anything which you want to drink and eat, right? So that's how the Goloka Vrindavan, the abode of Krishna, is described by Brahma, right? So those kind of things are a separate world, right, by itself. So that is called the spiritual world. So what is the difference between us and Krishna? This particular picture is going to come in the bridge, but let me explain this, because this is a question which many of you all asked, right? So all of us know the soul. There is no doubt. Now we're all experts, right? Consciousness. Now we know what is a gross body, what you see, hand, my face, all this, right? We also saw the qualities of the soul, right? It will not be burnt, it will not be withered, it will not be moistened, it will not be damned, it cannot be smashed, all that, right? That's the quality of a soul. Now, what is the quality of the gross body? It is very much, it can be affected, right? You punch me, I will get hit. And permanently also it can be damaged. So what happens when somebody, we say the person is passed off, or, is no more, or he's left the body, right? But the person is there. So what has left the body? The soul has left the body. We understood this. So the moment the soul leaves and the body dies, what should happen to the soul? The soul will go to its original place, which is Goloka Vrindavan. But what is the showstopper? What is bringing us back here? It is a subtle body. So subtle body is covering the soul is covered by the subtle body, which is nothing but the mind, intelligence, and false ego. So what is false ego? This is my house, right? You will get this. This is my classroom. Get out. This is my office. You don't stand here. Have you ever heard? Because I've heard a lot of time. Is there anyone who's heard? Has anyone heard in your life someone telling you this is mine and you don't take it? Not friends, but someone who's very serious. Yes. Oh, thank you, Aishwarya. Thank you, Jatin. Okay, Lisa. So we are all in the same side, right? Okay, I'm glad. Okay, Jeeta. Okay, I have more company now. Jeevita, right? So this is happening. So thanks, Ritu. So all of them are talking. They are all bossing off that this is mine. What is that mine? What is that boss of story, right? The boss of story possesses of material things too. Thank you so much, Aishwarya. Yes, it is because of that ego, right? It's called the false ego, right? You're not proud of something which you permanently have, but you're proud of something which you think you have. In college most of the time. Okay. Yeah. So everywhere, everywhere I've heard this. I mean, I'm not really, what I can relate is wherever I've seen people who perceive they have power, I've seen them using it, right? So this is what it is. Krishna's form is spiritual and our form is temporal, right? So Krishna comes, but his body is not the way we are. And it is also said in Isha Upanishad, which I always tell you, right? Saparyaga chukram akaram apranam yashna vidam suddham apapa vidyam kavi manishi paripu swayambhu yata tatrato artan yadadakshashvadivya samabhya. Hare Krishna. So what is he saying? His body is permanent and it does not have veins, blood, nerves like the way we are having. Therefore, his body is permanently spiritual, right? And we are controlled by Maya. And Krishna is above Maya. We already saw we have this mode of goodness, which is called Sattvam, mode of passion, right? Which is called the, Rajas, and Tamas, which is a mode of ignorance dominating us. Why? That is why you will see the same college student, 16 years. One will be very obedient, getting up at 4 o'clock and studying. One will be thinking that I have to get first rank. I have to get first rank. I have to get first rank. I want to beat this person, right? And the other person will tell, I don't care what's happening. I want to sleep. You will hear a lot of great dialogues, right? Hey, you don't have to study. You'll hear this, especially, the average students will very often tell that you don't have to study. All those, who are very big position, have not studied, they're all 10th fail. Have you heard? Very commonly I used to hear. And now the latest trend I even hear is YouTube. They are just 10th and 11th and you can make a lot of money in YouTube. These kind of things are so commonly heard, right? So this is another challenge. So why are all this coming up? Because these are all words of Maya in the mode of ignorance. So what is this? Has anybody in history able to know Krishna? Has anybody in history? Right? It should be a single word. Sorry, I've like split. So let's see who all have known Krishna. And before I read this, can someone guess? While I'm going to chant, can someone guess and put in the chat, who is this person who is being beheaded? Right? Many times. So thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. Ye yatamam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashah. Hare Krishna. Vita ragabhaya krodha manmaya mam upashrayitah bahavo jnana tapasa bhutamatpavam. Hare Krishna. So, okay, I'm seeing some messages. So let me go back and see that. Shishupal, wow, thank you, Ritvik. I was very sure none of you will know. You have disappointed me in a very good way. Thank you. Sangram Chakraborty. Okay, so you are also, two of you are telling. Perfect. So can anyone guess what is this? This is called the Rajasuya verse. The rest of the story, you know, if you have guessed Shishupal. So let me tell you the story of Shishupal. Yes. Okay, Hare Krishna. So today we are going to see a quick update on who is Shishupal, right? Shishupal is the first cousin of Krishna. And he was also he was actually born with 4 hands, right? And his mother actually is the aunt, right, of Krishna. She was told that whoever carries this child, and immediately when he gets 2 hands, the same person is the person who's going to be the cause of death for this son. So what happened is, as usual, Krishna picked up this child and immediately his 2 hands went off and he transferred into 2 hands. I mean, from 4, he lost 2 hands and out of the 4, balanced 2 hands and he became normal child like us by appearance. Okay. But attitude wise, Shishupal continues to have all his attitudes, which we all saw. Now, what is happening is now what is special is Krishna now carried, right? So the possibility of death is very high, right? Because he's already said that Krishna is going to be the person who will be killing. So since the mother knows, immediately what happens is she takes a promise from Krishna. Krishna, suppose, anything, what you need to do is any mistakes he does, up to 100 you should tolerate at one shot. It's not total life. One shot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in fact, Shishupal is even hired a person to count this. Okay, so this is the story. So there is this Rajasuya, prayer. So yagna. So what does Rajasuya yagna mean? Yeah, only 100 mistakes at one time. It's not from the child of birth. Like today, starting at this moment, 100 over. Fine. So that's what happens, right? So he used to scold, but he used to stop at 99. So Rajasuya time, what happened is that yagna is going on where Yudhishthira wants to give respect. So first respect he gives to Krishna. Everybody accepts him, and because he is anyway a legend then, so they have made him, obviously who can be better than Krishna. However, Shishupal is so envious of Krishna and therefore he could not tolerate and he went. And in that Maya, in that, the challenge, that interest of shouting, automatically he lost count and he went above 100, and immediately Krishna takes a Sudarshan and delivers. And Sudarshan is a biggest devotee of Krishna and it will not leave. So immediately it cuts the throat and comes back. So Shishupal is one such person, which, it's just that this is the story of Shishupal and he's beheaded. So this is the picture you can see, right? So this is what is about Shishupal, right? So for all those who had this doubt who Shishupal is the cousin of Krishna who got beheaded, right? Of course, he is an Asura. Hare Krishna. So where are we? Now back to our regular Bhagavad Gita. So what is, he say? Who's this? So let me get this picture. So what is the story? So someone said material affection, right? So let's see this. Hare Krishna. Ye yatamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. Right? So what he's telling, all of them, right? So typically all of them as they are should surrender on to me, and accordingly I reward. It's a very beautiful verse. He says, to the extent someone surrenders. Now you see, typically the cow is so affectionate, right? And Krishna is also reciprocating. Now Balram is holding Krishna's leg, and Krishna is also doing massage. So everyone, it's not just with respect to Balram, it's also for us. Whoever does it, I will reciprocate accordingly, is what Krishna is saying. Hare Krishna. You can read.
Being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me, and taking refuge in me. Many, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So very clearly the 11th verse is telling that, you get free from all this raga, bhaya, krodha, what is all that, right? We've seen all that fear, anger, hatred, desire, everything, you will get free and you will come very calm. So that is what he is saying. And continue reading the 12th. Hare Krishna.
Man in the world desire success in the fruitive activities, and therefore by worship the demigods quickly. Of course, men gets results from fruitive work in this world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So beautifully, you both are syncing one after the other. I have no idea how you all manage, but thank you so much. So men in the world actually desire fruitive activity, right? We saw this, and therefore they worship demigod. Now this is a story. Krishna, Arjuna will very beautifully ask. Now Arjuna's soul comes. Krishna says, for all those who surrender on to me, I reward them accordingly. Right? Then the question comes. Arjuna is asking, hey Krishna, if that is the case, right? People, when they surrender to you, they reward accordingly. Then why do people pray demigods? Right? All the devatas, why do people pray? So immediately Krishna will tell, he'll give quick result. Right? You ask dad for a long time for a lollipop, you won't get. But then you go and ask your uncle or your neighbor, you will get immediately. Any experiences? Yes, right? Always ask, you get more like a Santa Claus, right? Correct, right? So immediately, so devatas are also like mamas only. So immediate you get, right? But can you get permanent result? Will they permanently take care of us? No. Only we can ask for a lollipop or a gene, right? So that is what is devatas. So devatas, why they do that? Yeah, also grandparents. I love that. But grandparents, we can't compare in this context. So it's like more like, right? Family, direct family. And the outsider, I'm just bringing that. So, but whereas who is going to permanently take care of us, right? Ultimately, your parents. So what is happening? All these quick results you get, right? But genuinely whether they are concerned about you. So suppose you have cold also, you'll see your mom and tell you, no, don't eat cold things. Don't eat. Immediately you'll have your uncle or your neighbor say, it's okay. What is that? Once away? Yes or no? Right? And finally, who's going to pay your fees and all? Your dad is going to do. But all these comments will come from others and we will just love them. They will spend 2 hours with us and we'll feel their life is so good and their children are so lucky. But if you 1 hour sit with the children, they will tell, oh my God, my father, my mom, oh my God, dreadful, right? Yeah. So this is what is devatas. Why? Because they give quick result. Arjuna is so compassionate, right? So immediately he'll ask, Krishna, what will happen now? If they are going to get quick results, I'm okay with getting quick results, but I have a small problem. What is the problem? How will they reach you? Because the goal of life is to reach a permanent abode without any problem, right? And how will they reach? How is it possible? He says, you don't worry. It is possible. How? He says that in the 17th verse. So let's hear what he says. Hare Krishna. Chatur varnam maya shrishtam gunakarma vibhagashah tasya kartaram apimam vidya kartaram avyayam. Hare Krishna.
According to the three modes of material nature and the work ascribed to them, the 4 divisions of human society were created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So now it is coming, right? Which today you call as caste. No, those days they called this as Varna and Ashrama. What is Varna, right? Based on your qualities and based on your nature, right? You were put into 4 sets. For example, a Brahmana is someone who's very knowledgeable, very intelligent, and who's normally a preacher. He preaches, does not even take money, right? And his qualities are very different. He's very pure, he's very hostile, all that. Kshatriya is someone who's very bold. If there is any adharma, he will stand up, even at the cost of his life. right? And his main role is protection. So typically all kings, that's their role. Now, who's Vaishya? Vaishya is a typical business guy, right? And he is largely interested in protecting the cows. If anybody can guess who a Vaishya is, you can just give an example. You can just put it in chat. So immediately, and for a Brahmin also you can, for a Kshatriya also. Whatever names come up, you can throw in chat and I'll read it once we are done. So Kshatriya, we are seeing now Vaishya, he is a protector of cows and he'll take care of the cows and so nicely he will be doing, right? And all these three are one side. And now what happens is, this is how it is. Brahmana, everybody pays it. Kshatriya collects taxes and other things from him, from the Vaishya, because he has to take care of the country, nation, protection and all. And Sudra are those who are the labor class, right? We call them blue collar because they actually will follow strict instruction and they are very important for maintenance of them. Why are they so important to maintain? Because these people are basically labor. They are very good in labor, but what they are bad at is they are not very great in managing money and all that. You give them money, immediately they'll spend off or they'll get into very wrong activities. And that is why these Sudras should be supervised, right? They are dependent also on them. So this is what happens. So we've got some examples. So let's see. Yes, thank you. Sudama, yes. For Brahmana, thank you so much, Ritu. Arjuna, Kshatriya, Nandgopal, yes, perfect. Kabja. Okay, I don't know who this Kabja is, but I'll go with you. Thank you anyway. Hare Krishna. So this is as it is. So this has got nothing to do with religion or caste. This is ideally to do with their ability, right? But people who are in that family tend to have that. But this is not by default. So if you're a Brahmin and the son of a Brahmin, unless he follows all those rituals and he continues to preach or whatever is his duty, he will lose this position. He will be called the Dvija Bandhu, which means he's a cousin of a Brahmana. And one example I can tell you is, I thought you will tell me, I'm waiting. Ashwatthama. Ashwatthama was born to a Brahmin, but did he behave like a Brahmin? You can be bold like a Kshatriya, that's not what they are telling. But did he behave? He never followed the principles and all, right? So he is a classic example of Dvija Bandhu. Right? So that is what it is. Hare Krishna. So what does he say in the 14th verse? Namam karmani lipante, name karma palaspraha, iti mam yo bijanati, karma birna sabhatyate. Hare Krishna.
There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. Hare Krishna.
It's a beautiful thing. Earlier also he says, right, all this whatever he was telling, right, is not being affected, because all this whatever is being affected surely will not affect anyone. The only reason it will not affect Krishna is he's above the modes of nature. Only we are stuck in these words. Now, other than Krishna, will anyone not be stuck? He's adding more. Anyone who there, if the work, this work doesn't affect me, nor, it involves, but one who understands this, right, about me, he will also not get entangled. Why? Because one who knows will be intelligent. Sudama, right, he's such a devotee and Krishna has no problem in doing. He need not do anything, but still he did all this duty. We saw, right? Chapter 3, yesterday we saw, right? Yadyat Ashravati says, Taddat Evetano Jana. Bhavat Sayat Pramanam Kurute Lokastad Anuvartate, which means what? The great leaders do, others will follow. If Krishna is putting his leg on leg and telling, okay, wash it like Krishna also is not doing, why should I do? Right? So that is what he's setting. So this is the speciality of him. And also whoever understands this does not get entangled. So that is the speciality of Krishna. This is Krishna with covered voice. You see what level he's going. And literally he is the charioteer for Arjuna. Now, charioteer is not like a driver. Today you will tell, what's a big deal? I also drive for my friend. Those days, why people used to wear pointed foot? Where it is also because in that noise, they can't shout. So what they will do if someone is actually, riding the chariot, they will use the leg to point towards the, they will just touch. They will not kick the person. They will just touch, the left so that, it's turn left, turn right. Because in that noise, you can't hear. So literally, possibly, you can imagine what kind of a role Krishna has taken. So it's not the current level drivers who have the luxury to sit in the AC car and listen to the music and completely I'm not getting the word. Go into a sleeping position in the car and enjoy. No, right? So that is what is the difference, right? So let's see what does this say. Hare Krishna. Karma no api bodhavyam cha vikarmanah akarmanascha bodhavyam Kahanna karma no gati. Hare Krishna.
The intricacies of action are very hard to understand, Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what inaction is, and what inaction is.
What action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is, right? So what action is, we all know is karma. Today you'll be experts in this. Yesterday we did a quick review on this, right? What is forbidden action? We saw vikarma, right? What you should not do, forbidden action. We also saw a lot of things like sleeping 12 hours. All these are not coming under Shastra. How do you know what is forbidden? Anything which is not mentioned in the Shastra is forbidden. And what is inaction? You don't take any credit, akarma, doing all these things, right? So whatever he is doing is pious activity, you go to heaven. If you do forbidden action, you go to, hell. But inaction is whatever you do, you give it to Krishna, right? You basically think of Krishna, then you don't get loss or benefit out of that. So that is called vikarma. So this is what is there. So now you understand. So what is vikarma? Forbidden action. They do not follow the Vedas. They have risk of being degraded to lower species. Also, they will visit hell a few times and come. Not at all appreciated by scientific people and defeats the purpose of life. And what is karma? See all this. Follow the Vedas. They are very pious. They will go to Swargalokam. They all say heaven. No, many of them wanted to come back again here. Why here? We can also go to heaven. We can go to Swargaloka, have lovely bodies, such beautiful features of the Devatas. Eventually, you will still come back here because after your credits, like your visa, you have a visa stamp for a period, and once the visa expires, you come back here, right? So that's what is going to happen. And what are the jnanis doing? They come to this platform of knowledge called Atma Tattva, right? They are the very elevated. So they're talking about karmis, vikarmis, and jnanis, and they know fruitive activities binds them by means of births, right? So they will not get into that fruitive activity at all. And those who do not those who do come to devotional service are very exalted generally, because such jnanis are, you have seen this, right? You have Narada. Why are you having him? Because he is so exalted, there is nothing which can stop a Narada. So that is what is his speciality, right? So vikarma, and we saw a person like Narada who's come here, right? And this one we already saw the 4 caste system. And then what are they all talking about, right? In 4.34 it says, Hare Krishna, tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshinah. Hare Krishna.
Just try
Just
to
try-
learn.
Just try to learn the truth. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth.
Thank you so much. So very simple. Tadvidhi pradipratena. Tadvidhi pradipratena means what? Just learn the truth, right? Vidhi, right? Pariprashnena sevaya. Serve, right? Ask question. Inquire submissively. What mood? Hey, tell me no. Inquire. Upadakshena te jnanam. That knowledge, right? You should do. Jnanivas, those who are self-realized. Darshinaha, he will give you the truth. He will show you the truth. So can anyone guess who is this Rishi? And who are these 2 bald boys? Any guesses?
Sandipani Muni and Krishna and Balram.
Krishna Balram, correct. And what is the name of the Muni you told, Kana?
Sandipani Muni.
Very nice. Perfect. So impressed. Sandeepani Muni is the teacher of these 2. And what his specialty is, even Krishna, we already saw, right? He's also leading by an example. He went to Gurukul, but in 1 week's time, he learned everything. Why? They both knew it already. But still, they wanted to set an example. So they also went to school and practice. So this is what is this, and this is the last shloka. So quick revision. So what did we do? Evam parampara pratam. That means transcendental knowledge about Krishna. Who is Krishna? How did this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita come? That is what he says. Ye yata mam prapadyante. Krishna on the goal of all paths. He's a creator of Varnashram. Not because we should have casteism, not because we should have allotments of seats so that we will struggle, right? Because casteism used to be very depressing for me, because I used to have, I have this friend of mine during school, and before going to college, all of us used to struggle and study hard. And she used to tell me, okay, she'll tell, even if I get half your marks, college will be waiting for me for seat, because they had this quota to fill some of the communities, right? So we used to feel, oh my God, and those days, typically when your mind only feels that you can study, right? Once you touch college, you will have a little bit of maturity. But in your school, when you're in 7th, 8th, 9th, especially 10th, 11th, when you hear all this, you'll be thinking, oh, I'm so unlucky, I should be born in her caste. Yes or no? Right? So this is how we used to think. And, because, and then the moment you see half the mark, and then, a lot of colleges inviting her for, the seat, while we'll be battling our own seats. Oh my God, we'll feel so depressed, right? So, but that's not the intention with which Krishna gave. Krishna gave because the caste, religion, all this is for dharma and should be given based on somebody's capacity. So if I can't do something, then I should not be forced to do. So that is what was meant to be then. So, and then he says karma yoga, right? What is, karma yoga and working in Krishna consciousness. And he says all yagna, all sacrifices are leading to transcendental knowledge. What's the purpose of any sacrifice? Because we understand Krishna. So why do we tell Harinam Sankirtan or Japa or anything? Is because we have to think of Krishna. We have to remember Krishna. So that's the idea, right? And and finally, what happens is Tadvidi. How should we learn? Very clearly, he says through discipline succession. Hare Krishna. Yes, Shri. Casteism is also, it's based on birth, but not just by a birth status. Your guna will decide. So basically, a Brahmin will be mode of goodness. A Kshatriya will have a combination, very beautiful topic. Kshatriya will have a combination, it's typical modes play a large role with the Hare Krishna. Modes play a large role with respect to this Varna. For example, if you take Brahmins will definitely be in Sattvic Gunam, mode of goodness. If you take Kshatriya and Vaishnavas, they will both be in the mode of passion, right? And Kshatriyas will be more tilted towards mode of goodness, and Vaishyas will be little more tilted towards mode of ignorance, right? So that will be a margin. And your Sudras will definitely be mode of ignorance. So based on the modes, based on where you are, this is how the quality will prevail. But it's not a lock-in. You obviously can change your quality. But this is broad system or casteism which is followed. So this plays a vital role in your in the thing. So Varna and Ashrama are totally different. So Varnas which we are talking about, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudra, is not a system for you to get a special power or special recommendation letter or a special seat somewhere. No, it's based on your ability. These Varnas were created, and the idea is you will be in that Varna, stay there, promote yourself and come to Krishna. That was the goal with which Varnas were there. But today it's been completely misused, misguided by all. So this is Varna. So another day I will tell you what Ashrama is, right? Ashrama are the stages of life. Your 100 years, first 25 years, I'll tell now. First 25 years, second 25, third 25, last 25. How do you live? First 25, you will be the bachelor, right? Brahmachari. Grahastha is the 26 to 50, the second 25 years where you're married, you have children, you get them married. Grahastha. Vanapastha is like typically 51 years to 70. What happens is the next 25 year, you will hand over the kingdom or business or anything to the son, and then you will take your wife and go and visit pilgrimages, peace lives, all this. And sannyasi is the last 25 years where men take the sannyasism and they will go, permanently. They will leave family, but the wives are there to take care of the children, not in terms of care, but all the family tradition we saw. Those are explained by the wife. So that is the speciality of this Varna and Ashramas, why these are created. And one thing which we should not forget at any point in time is, you to see today, the parents also have complained, right? I'm having business, third generation business, but the fact is the first generation and the last generation, as long as they are alive, don't give the children the right. Which is why you have a lot of children who want to have their own businesses. They don't want to stick to the father's business, because even if the father becomes father, grandfather, great-grandfather, he holds. Whereas if you take Rama's case, when Rama was sent to forest is one half, but the day before that or few days before that was when he was supposed to take the throne. Why? Dhritarashtra, I'm still in Mahabharata, I have not left. So now you have to tell me what is the name of father of Rama. Yeah, type in the chat box. So now what is going to happen is, he saw one gray hair, right? He saw, thank you, Hare Krishna, Dasharatha. So he saw one gray hair of himself and he decided this is the time he has to hand over the kingdom to Rama. So that is what happened. So those days, the power was handed over and they were trained to manage at that age. So today you see, even one day before that, they want to hold the power. If he's a king, yes, politician, 80, 90 years, next second he will die, but still he wants to be a political leader, right? That has become this choice. But these are not the case. Those days, they were very clearly having two things: Varna, stages of life. Varna, the way in which, the Varnas were based, which we saw, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, and Ashrama based on stages and your age. Based on that, which stage you will actually be. So these were all so well streamlined. So this is what it is. Hare Krishna. So this, brings us quickly. Yeah, that's it. This ends the 4th chapter. And if there are any questions, you all can go ahead and shoot. But there are some questions which I do. The Varnas are mistranslated in English as caste. Yes, exactly. Solid, exactly. Thank you so much, Aishwarya. Such a beautiful understanding. Varnas are solid, unchangeable, because we need these people, right? If we do not have a Kshatriya, that is why we do not have Kshatriya. What do we tell? Hey, I never mind others' business. But actually what you're doing, you're closing, locking and staying. You okay? One small kid, or if somebody is hitting someone also, you don't care, right? Because we don't have the Kshatriya blood in us. Today, Kali Yuga, every one of us are Sudra. When people check the astrology, they see that Hare Krishna, Varnas, not according to the Varna that they got from the birth. So which is true Varna? The Varna from Astro and based on our family. Okay, basically Varna from astrology is not followed at all. Ma. Bhagavad Gita, those days was different. They used to be so accurate. Today, there is no one who is so good in any of this, be it astrology, be it any of the bad things also, even black magic. All these were true. Okay, but there are no one who knows that knowledge to take it forward. So that's the biggest challenge, right? So what is the time? We are 4. We won't have time for bridge today because bridge will go for at least half an hour, 40 minutes. If you have questions, type in and I can tell you a story. Let me see what story I have for you all. Any questions? Please go ahead. Ma'am, how to remember the characters? I'm totally new to Bhagavad Gita. Names are totally confusing. Do you remember 2 characters? Do you remember Krishna? Do you remember Arjuna? This is sufficient. You don't need other characters. Because this is not Mahabharatam to remember a character. This is Bhagavad Gita. We only need to follow the instructions and listen. Right? So if you know these 2 are totally fine. Don't worry, even I get confused. I just now got confused for a second, right? So it happens. You keep hearing, you'll get into it. Hare Krishna. Okay, now I'm going to tell you a story. Wait, story time, yes or no? Nobody's interested in story. Nobody said yes, so I'm thinking.
Yes, Mataji.
Done. Hare Krishna. Okay, so story time. Today I'm going to tell you a story and you all are going to tell me the answer for the story. And now this is a story of Narada. Narada is very confused. He wants proof for everything, right? So Narada is not someone who will sit in one place. He will go on from one place to another, and in his journey, he first enters a Brahmin's house, right? Very elevated Brahmin, very nice, extremely spiritual, extremely knowledgeable, right? And he knows all the Shastras, everything, unbeatable knowledge, right? So this is a speciality of this particular Brahmin. So he is now in our material world, right? So he's come here and he's seeing every single place. That time he sees this Brahmin. So what is the specialty of the Brahmin? He sees this Brahmin and the Brahmin is doing all puja. The moment he saw Narada, he says, Narada Prabhu, you please come, take your seat. And, can you tell me, can you give me one write-up, on one question? He says, when you're meeting Vishnu, can you find out and tell, when I am going to reach his abode? When am I going to see him? Narada is very happy. He says that is why one should be a Brahmin. He understands the importance of going to Krishna and reaching his abode. Amazing. This is not my version. This is what Narada is telling. Okay. So he's so impressed. Hare, rock, he's so happy. He says, okay. And he says, don't worry. And he immediately thinks, okay. Obviously, he's like so bhakti, he's a bhakti man. So why should we even ask? But Narada is a very exalted, faithful devotee of Krishna. He will do nothing on his own. Therefore, he clearly said, okay, we'll go ahead. So he goes on his way and next he goes to a cobbler. You all know cobbler, right? He's a shoemaker and he's sitting in a banyan tree, under a banyan tree. So what am I trying to tell is this person. So basically the first person whom we met is a Brahmana, right? And this guy, obviously a cobbler, is a Sudra. I'm just explaining so that today we saw casteism, so you'll be able to relate. So he is going through a miserable situation, right? So he is like, in spite of that, he invites Narada, but to the extent he could do, he comes, sits and he tells, you want to have food or whatever. And he says all this and he takes care of Narada. And when Narada is leaving, he asks one question. He says, Narada, can you find out from Vishnu, when is there a possibility for me to reach and when will I reach? Narada is like, shocked, but then he's very happy, Narada. He says like, everybody wants to reach Vishnu because Narayana, I'm so happy that every person has a goal to meet Vishnu because that makes him happy. And he says, obviously, the cobbler is going to take some time because it's a known fact. right? So he goes to, this is his feeling, but he doesn't reveal. He goes to Vishnu, and he goes and talks to Vishnu, and Vishnu tells him an answer. Now, you can tell me, right? Now the chat is open, and story. So chat is open, and now you can tell me, whom do you think will go to Krishna first and why? Don't just give me a name, because there are only two names. One will put this name, the other one is going to put the other name. Who and why? I want both the answers. Who and why? I'm going to wait. Come faster. I want to hear. I want to hear who and why. There are only two characters, Brahmana and the cobbler. Yes. No private messages. Send in the group only. Let every one of us see what it is. Hare Krishna. No right answer or wrong answer. Both answers will be correct only. You can type. Don't ask me more questions out of the questions. I want some answers. Hare Krishna. Who will go first to Krishna? I want each one of you to type. Cobbler or Brahmana. And why? Just write the answers and then, okay, some are typing cobbler, some Brahmana, some cobbler, some Brahmana. All answers are fine. But why? Nobody has typed the reason why. Yes. Brahmin, because he is having complete faith in God. Very nice answer. Okay. Because he does all puja, punashkaram, perfect. Vaibhav, any other answers with explanation? Right. So now he goes to, you all can continue to keep typing the answer. Cobbler, because in spite of being a Sudra, he worshipped the God. Okay. So Lisa has got another view. She says cobbler, but cobbler worshipping God is like a bumper offer according to Lisa. So he is going. So both the views are there. Cobbler, Vijay Kumar is telling, but no reason. So I'm skipping. So what is again going to happen is now Vishnu tells Narada is performing his karma. Okay, nice answer, Aishwarya. The cobbler is performing his karma diligently and is also religious. So, okay, now I'm going to have an argument. So did the Brahmana, right? So now Vishnu says, he goes to Vishnu and Vishnu says, okay, just go and tell the Brahmana that he will come after 100 lives. Narada is like thrown back. Oh, really? Okay, I will tell. Then he says, okay, cobbler, when will he come? Just tell the cobbler that this is his last life. He's going to come, right? So Narada is confused, but he doesn't want to argue. But still he asks, he says, Krishna, can you tell why? He says, no problem, just go and tell them, you will get your answer. So Narada says, okay, and he goes to the cobbler. Then he says, let me first go to the Brahmana, and he goes to the Brahmana. He tells Brahmana, hey, Brahman, can you tell me why? Why is, can you tell me something? So Brahmana says, forget about it. You first tell me this. What did Narayana tell? What did Vishnu tell me about when I'll come? He says, no, you will come after 100 lives. He's like shocked. Are you sure? Are you really, really sure after 100 lives? He says, yes. Okay, fine. He's very upset, but he says, okay, no problem. If that is what Vishnu desires, but can you tell me what was he doing? Because we always have this doubt, right? Maybe this person was busy. So he's having the same doubt. Can you tell me what is it he was doing when this happened? So Narada was saying, oh, acha, okay. When he was telling this, when I was talking to him, he was trying to push an elephant through the needle, through the eye of the needle. You know the needle, right? The thin needle and the eye of the needle is that hole. He was trying to push, and Brahmana started laughing. He started laughing. He said, what are you saying? He said that Vishnu was pushing the elephant on the eye of the needle. He said, the real elephant? He said, yes. Started laughing. He said, Narada, what makes you think I'm so dumb? How can you even think, right? So I'm a Brahmana, I'm learned, I'm a Jnani, right? So obviously, I know it's not possible. I just wanted to know whether Krishna was preoccupied, right? That is why I asked you this question. But beyond this, nothing. And he says, okay, no problem. And he leaves. Okay, Narada thinks okay. And he goes. And he goes to the cobbler, and the cobbler asks him, Prabhu, can you tell me what did Vishnu tell? He said that this is your life. This is your last life. He says, really? My last life? Oh my God, I'm so happy. And what was Vishnu doing, when you ask this question? Because he's also excited. He wants to know. See, we are all people who always want to know the reason, right? Especially, mainly bad means we want the reason to blame. Good also, we are curious. So he asks him why. Narada says, you know what? Vishnu was actually pushing an elephant through the eye of the needle. Oh, really? Really? Amazing, amazing, he says. Narada thinks, whatever said and done, this is what differentiates a learned person and a person who's not learning. What a classic difference, right? When I heard the story also, I thought, oh my God. See, the Brahmana, whether he made fun or not is a different story. But there is a requirement for knowledge, right? So he immediately went. and he asks him a thing. He went and sits and he keeps continuing his work and keeps talking. So he says, hey, I'm talking about something and you didn't even ask how. And you are just believing. So whatever I tell you will believe. He said, no, because you said about Vishnu. He said, doesn't matter, but there should be some reason, right? So you guys have to tell me. Was that belief, stupid, intelligent? Was he dumb? Whatever is your feeling. Whatever, was he right? I'm not talking about right answer or wrong answer, but I'm just telling, is it correct? So what happened is now Narada is like, I really have to test this guy, and he goes and asks. So he says, wait for 1 second, and he says, please wait. And he goes and he says, he's under a banyan tree. So he goes and brings one seed, and he tells, the seed, right? Seed of a banyan tree. And he tells very clearly that, can you have a look at this seed? And can you have a look at this tree? This tree is so big, such a big tree. He is actually able to put inside the small seed. If Vishnu can do this, then how long it's going to take for him to push an elephant in the needle? Narada was like, zapped. He was like thoroughly zapped. And more than Narada, when I heard also, I was zapped. Because even I thought like it's blind faith. Yeah, like thank you so much. Some of you all have typed blind faith, trust, blind belief. True. Blind belief is fine. But here, the cobbler had complete faith, whereas the Brahmana had room of doubts, and it would take a few. Yes, Aishwarya, absolutely right. So this is complete faith. And besides faith, he also has jnana. It will take few lifetimes to understand the power of Vishnu. Thank you so much. Yes, we are also in the same situation. We do not have Shraddha, complete faith. Shraddha means faith, which is why we have been having so many lives. We saw, right? So many lives. This is one yuga, one package we are. So at least we know out of the 311 trillion years, 155 trillion years have passed. So we are all past so many lives, right? And we are struggling here. Therefore, the only request we have is that if we believe in Krishna, we can quickly go. So that's not my request. This is what. So when I heard the story of the cobbler, the first time I was so impressed. I thought, oh my God, I didn't know that there's so much of rationale in the way he could justify. See, having faith is one, but how well he could justify, even a Brahmana could, right? So that is the faith and confidence. So what is it we are learning? Today we saw Jnana Yoga, right? Yesterday we saw Karma Yoga, and tomorrow we are going to see Karma Yoga and Krishna conscious. So what are we talking about in the first 6 chapters, right? So this is one thing. And the entire Bhagavad Gita, what is their destination? Is Bhakti. We are doing Karma and reach Bhakti. We are doing Jnana today and we reach Bhakti, right? We meet Krishna, that's the Bhakti. Now, what is the point? Anyone who has Bhakti, right? Jnani has knowledge. Karmi does work, right? In Krishna service. But somebody who has Bhakti automatically has these two. This is the moral of the story, and very important moral. So a cobbler may not be educated, may not be intelligent, may not have so much of exposure, right? He's doing his duty. He may not even give the duty results to Krishna. But the fact is, the very fact that he's reached the ladder of Bhakti, which means that he's taken an escalator, the two, which is your jnana as well as your karma, is falling in place, right? All those who said he's a karmi, he's doing hard work. Yes, the Brahmin also was a karmi, he was doing hard work. Jnani, yes, he didn't have jnana from our way of seeing. So one more thing, this answers your question. If someone is hurt, should we do, or it's his karma? Now the karma is between God. So even a Narada, an exalted devotee, could not guess whether a cobbler was correct or Brahmin. So did we, right? We just took some random rational guesses. But the fact and the most important thing is the level of Bhakti is understood only by Vishnu. He wanted to reveal it to a lot of us and Narada, and therefore the story came up. Otherwise, we would never get to know who has more Bhakti. Even here, even in this entire group, nobody can say whether your Bhakti is more or the other person's Bhakti is more, my Bhakti is more. No way. No. Anybody can be overtaking anyone in Bhakti. Now, we are not going to compare Bhakti or Karma. We are going to evaluate ourselves with ourselves, right? So that is what I want to tell. So Bhakti is between us and Krishna. Same way Karma is also between us and Krishna. But you can change your Karma by doing the right things in Krishna conscious. And therefore, by having Bhakti, all the wrong things which we have done will get deleted. So let's first do this. Yeah. With this, I will end this story also. Hare Krishna. And tomorrow I will bring chanting, how we will chant, and a video on chanting. So what is chanting is you take the beats, and 108 beats are there. And, and you will count Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is what is all about chanting. One beat, you will tell one completely. And then you go on to the next. And after you finish the entire one circle, it's called 108 beats. That's called one mala, one full mala you do. This is what is Sankirtan. and it's advised to do 16, and every day we keep doing, right? So today is the 4th day. So we will do obviously 24 times, right? So we'll slowly reach the 108 on the last day, but I'll be happy if anyone starts off right away. So it's all your choice. But the choice is whether we all have to be a cobbler or the Brahmana. Yeah, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. I hope you all enjoyed the story. Yeah. Thank you so much. Any other questions? There was one question. Let me finish that and then let's chant and close. If there are further questions, you can type. Sometimes we become so selfish or gives much importance to ourselves. Is it good to be selfish or not? Hare Krishna. See, it's very difficult question to talk about selfish. To what context, right? It was a very general question. Is it good to be selfish or not? See, it's never good to be selfish, but in what context are we talking, right? Everything we have to go. So technically, if that selfishness is mentioned in Varnam, is as per what Vedas are saying, then it is good. So anything which is not is outside the scope of Veda, then it is bad. So you have to take it, a general word won't be able to tell. Now, it is like this, killing a person, is it good or bad? You tell me, killing a person, is it good or not? Bad. Bad, okay. Bad, perfect. Bad. Depends on who the person is, okay? So Aishwarya wants to decide the person is good, okay. Aishwarya, I'm giving you the answer. The person is a bad person, so you take a knife and kill the person? Bad. So this is half, right? So this is like this question you asked. So bad. So uniformly you agree, okay. So if this person is actually crossing the border and you're a military guy in your border, killing him is good or bad? Good. See, you told 2 minutes back it's bad, not even a few seconds back, and now you're telling it's good. How? So what I'm telling you is everything has a reason, right? So as I told, the judge should do the role of the judge more than the father. But father should never leave his role. So this is what it is. So it's all very situation based. These are. So, a general statement we can't use. But thank you so much for the answers. I think literally every one of you all are messaged. Right? So if there are no more questions, can we chant 24 times and end the talk? Yeah. No, not bad, because this is that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's for a Kshatriya, killing is normal because he's following the Dharma. Right? So let's go ahead. Yeah. Hare Krishna. So 24 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, 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 Hare. Rekha, you can stop the recording now. Hare Krishna.